First up, we have Ty Patton. A Kansas native, Ty was born in Topeka and grew up in Butler County. He earned his Bachelor of Science in History from Emporia State University and obtained his Juris Doctorate from Washburn University School of Law. Ty began his career practicing law at Reardon, Fincher, and Mayo in Topeka before joining McCurdy Real Estate and Auction in Wichita as General Counsel, Auctioneer, and Realtor in 2015. Since 2021, Ty has worked as Thrive Restaurant Group's Corporate Counsel and Director of Real Estate. He currently serves on the Leadership Wichita Board of Trustees and on the Board of Directors for Wichita Festivals, Inc. He is also past president of the Old Wichita Cowtown Museum, Incorporated, Board of Trustees, and was a candidate for Man of the Year for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. He currently lives in Benton, Kansas, with his family. Please, a round of applause for Ty Patton.
All right, I've done this in 11 minutes in rehearsal, so we're going to go a little quicker tonight. So my wife and I have been married about 17 years, and as we think back, and I think back about being a young couple, I think like a lot of young couples when you're married, your idea of home is very literal. It's your little first apartment. You think about buying a house and taking those trips to Lowe's and all that fun stuff. But as you get a little older, or maybe more mature, you start to realize that maybe home is a little bit something different. And to the extent I have a thesis, that would be it, is that home is the people, not the place. And so for my wife and I, that meant family. That meant kids, filling that home, raising kids. And so that was what we set out to do. And that didn't happen like it was supposed to happen. And like when you have any challenges in that in the fertility world, you go to specialists and get referred to specialists and see specialists, and they say everything looks fine, don't stress about it. And that doesn't work, just so you know, if you never had a chance to decide not to stress about something. But what it did for us was it kind of solidified this idea that we'd been called, or felt we were called, that maybe adoption was our path forward. And that's how we were going to build our home, was adoption. That's what we did. And almost immediately, as we decided to go to adopt, we were matched with a situation, which is a word that you learn a lot in the adoption world. There's a situation in Louisiana, and it was so easy and so quick that we knew it was the right thing to do. And then immediately that didn't work for a myriad of reasons, and so we were kind of devastated, didn't know what our home was going to look like. And then the Friday before Easter 2015, we got a call about a situation in Pratt. And so they said, you need to get to Pratt, there's a baby. And so we backed up and we drove down, and if my time is timed right, you'll see there's a baby. Social worker, child in need of care case. There he is, Asa, our first. Kind of fell out of the sky. So on Friday we didn't have a kid, on a Saturday we did, which is an interesting way to build a family if you've never done it that way. But we thought, we didn't feel like our home was full. We thought there was, we were called. We felt like, we were destined maybe to have more. So we went through the process again and put our name out there, and we waited. And we got a call that there was a situation in Omaha. And we went up there when we met a gal, and then a few weeks later we got the call to get ourselves back up there quick. Memorial Day weekend, 2017, made it to Omaha, and there was Josiah. A headstrong kid. Ever since they unhooked him from his brief stay in NICU, he has not slowed down. So we had two. But we still weren't sure that our home was full. And so we thought, maybe we're being greedy at this point. How big is this home? But we also didn't have a little girl, and so we thought maybe we're called to do that. So we went back out into the world, and we waited, and we got a call out of the blue one Saturday morning that there's a situation in Salina. And again, a situation means a baby. It's a code, I guess, they use in the adoption world. But we went up there, and we met a social worker, and they said, sign this form, here's your baby. So we had two kids Saturday morning. By Saturday evening, we had three. And you'll see a very kind of grumpy, Caleb is our still grumpy kid that we have. He's a 2-year-old. He still has that exact look most of the time. Crossed his arms and told me he did not like peanut butter and jelly today at lunch, which I know is a lie. But we had three, and so now we're outnumbered. That's a good place to stop. You can't run man to man anymore. But we didn't have a girl, And I know my wife had it on her heart that we had a girl, so she prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. Sometimes just to say, hey, if we're not supposed to have a girl, take this away. Give us peace. But we weren't sure, and we had 3. We didn't know what that would look like. Sometimes it's hard to get selected when you have 3 kids already. And we waited, and then late summer, we got a call about a situation in California. So we got ourselves out to Modesto as fast as we could, and there was Hannah. And so for those of you familiar with the Bible story, Hannah prayed and prayed and prayed for a baby, and ultimately her prayers were answered. And so in this case, Hannah was the answer to our prayers. And then we have our little girl, and we have 4, and I'm pretty sure we're done. I think 4 is a good number. Occasionally I think 3 was a good number, but I think 4 is a good number. But I say all that. This is a pandemic adoption hearing if you've never got to go to court on your laptop. But our definition of home, our journey to home was different than we would have sit down when we were getting married 17 years ago. More challenging in some ways, certainly more uncertain, maybe filled with some heartbreak along the way. But I don't know that I'd change it, because now home is this. So that's how I define home. Thank you.